This is our group movie of the week. I'm Sean. With me, I have Lynn. And I have Eddie.
What's up, everybody?
You just woke up, you guys. This week's movie of the week is our group discussion, of course. We chose a comedy to try to lighten our spirits and our minds from all the stuff going on this week. We chose the movie A.C.O.D, A.C.O.D, Adult Children of Divorce. I want to start off this by saying I am not an adult child of divorce. Lynn, Eddie?
I don't know, because I never saw my dad. He left when I was a year and some change old, so I guess so.
Okay, you guess you are. Eddie?
You know what I mean?
Same boat as Lynn.
Okay.
I rarely see my father.
The only reason I did this is because at the end of the film, during the credits, they went through all the people working on the film, and I thought it was
they
very,
had actual people,
to allow the people to share their personal experience with us. All right, so let's jump right on into this. A little bit about the movie. A grown man caught in the crossfire of his parents' 15-year divorce discovers he was unknowingly part of a study of divorced children and is enlisted in a follow-up years later, which wreaks new havoc on his family. Okay, so let's jump off. Lynn, let's start with you. Let's get this pot going. Positives.
All right, what do you positives? I love the actor who play I should say all the actors in this were awesome.
It was quite a
I've known them from
other
things, whether it's
Richard Jenkins as the father, Catherine O'Hara as the mother. You have Adam Scott as the son, which coincidentally Adam Scott is playing Richard Jenkins' son in this film. He also played his son in Step Brothers. Also, you had Amy Poehler, Mary Elizabeth Wanstead, Clark Duke. Also, Jessica Alba is in here. Jane Lynch. It's a really star-studded cast.
Yeah, well, I love the cast.
Okay. Oh, it's gonna be one of those.
That's positive for me.
All right.
No. To be honest, there was a couple laugh out loud moments for me, but overall, it for a comedy, it really fell off the wagon. And it got really serious, really dramatic towards the later half, and I was like, and it tried to save itself with certain things. So, as far as positive, there were good few funny moments, just like on the other side of things as well. I can't say it was a full blown out,
Eddie, do you have any positives? Do you remember any things that you like from this movie? Eddie saw this movie previously. He wasn't able to get to it this week, but he saw it previously. Do you have anything that you recall from this film when you watched it?
Very little I can remember positive about it. It was very slow for me. Not funny at all.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised we're getting his answer from Ed?
Because I wanted to look at this. When I brought it up on IMDb, it was 5.7 out of 10. I decided to look it up on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was a critical rating of 50% and an audience rating of 28%. On Netflix, though, it has 4 out of 5 stars. So not surprising. Lynn and Ed actually fall under the like of this film. I will agree with Lynn, though, with what you said. This movie is not so much a pure comedy like Neighbors, 21 Street.
Yeah, which is when we first looked at it, that's what we thought. And if you look at the trailer for this film, the trailer makes it seem like it's a laugh-a-minute riot.
Most of its jokes in the trailer.
If you look at,
I would say that this film, it's a dramedy. Mm-hmm. It has more heart to it first, and the acting aspect to it than the comedy aspect.
Which is not wrong for this movie to do. Don't get me wrong, because the story element suited it. It's just I wish that the comedy was a little bit more spread out evenly throughout the thing, and not just it felt very one-sided. Like most of the comedy was in the beginning.
Before we jump down that road, let me tell you a couple things. I agree with you as well. I definitely like the cast. Adam Scott to me is an underrated actor, underrated comedic actor. But I really hope he can start to turn around some of the characters he's choosing over the last 5 years, give or take. He's been choosing. Yeah.
Parks and Rec, man.
Did you ever watch the show? It was on Showtime. It was called servers or something like that. He is everybody's like trying to be an actor or an actress, and they work together as like a when you have events. What do they call that? I'm gonna find the name of this right now. But I like him. I think he's a very underrated actor. He's funny. He actually can act and not just have to rely on comedic timing or jokes that are in the script. So I like him. I like Jane Lynch. I like Richard Jenkins a lot. For some reason, Richard Jenkins, I really enjoy seeing him in a father role, especially this one where he's kind of a crazy father that's controlled by the opposite head that you would think of. And Catherine O'Hara actually, I surprisingly liked her character too. And so I don't know. For me, the main thing about this was the characters, the actors, and their job that they did with what they were given. I do think it's more of a drama, comedy, dramedy than a pure comedy.
I still felt like even in some of the, and this is why I said it was very lopsided, some of those people that we mentioned, like Catherine O'Hara and what have you, still tried to make the movie light and try to get certain jokes in, but the jokes fall so flat. And one of the key examples I'll give you is when they're at the cabin, when they first start to get to the cabin. And they're like, wait, why the hell is everybody here when nobody had been here, but yet everybody's been there minus him? That could have been a lot funnier moment, but it was just like they
so
flat
on that
line.
moment whether to go with drama or comedy. There were some lines in that scene that I enjoyed. Like, he's a dick. Don't call Gary a dick. Like it was funny to me, but at the same time it was still drama filled because even though Catherine O'Hara was leaving her husband to go back with her husband, she still cared about him, you know? She still cared about Gary.
Yeah. But to be honest, I liked Gary, and I saw him a better father figure.
Yeah. And in the short moments that we had with Gary, I felt Gary did a great job with being a father. The show I was talking about is called Party Down. That one's a good show. If you guys like Adam Scott or Lizzie Kaplan, go watch that show. It's on Netflix, I think, now.
By the way, Scott's character is Carter.
Keep calling it Adam Scott.
And then it's Hugh and Melissa. Those are the mother and his mother and father.
With some things that you didn't like, Lynn.
Well, like I said, besides the comedy being lopsided, I wanted to smack Carter a few times, especially when here's his woman he's been with for 4 years, and he's going to help his little brother, because the whole premise is around that wedding. The wedding is the key central plot of, why things are happening. And yet he can't commit, and he's holding out from this woman who he's been with for 4 years. And the little bits and pieces that they show of him trying to do that, it just falls flat. It really just falls flat. I never took his relationship serious any more than what it was. And even when, like, right at the moment when she bought him the drum set, after reading the book that his life is all written about, dude, man, I would have been pouring all emotions and feelings towards my female if she did that for me, and it was nothing.
I think
they made him so cold-hearted. That was part
of the character,
and
though.
So
I don't think that was a performance thing. I think that's part of the character. Yeah.
But he was... No, I don't mean it was performance. I'm talking about character only. I'm being specific to the character. He just came off too cold, even if he's a child of a divorce. I would think that I would not want to be like those individuals, and that's what a child of divorce is. You don't want to be the same failure that your parents were, that they couldn't even do that. But at the same time, you give your all. You give 4 years to a woman who's giving you your all, and has accepted the fact that you're broken, and yet you don't
I would love to have a woman like
what
that in
she
my
does
life,
for
married
you.
with Elizabeth Wanstead, doing all the stuff that she did for him and being understanding in the film. She did a good job. I definitely felt it from her side, and looking back on it now, you're bringing it
definitely.
Up, I definitely think that was part of how his character was formed and shaped. He's saying he's not this way, but he is this way.
Yeah, but there's a moment where with Dr. Judith mentions when he goes like, when she went to see her and she got all that information. He's like, you've been holding a lot of secrets from her.
Yeah.
Remind you of anybody? And right there, he should have been like, well, I don't want to be like my father. Why that never clicked with him?
Because
is beyond me.
It didn't,
because he was exactly his father.
And if it would have clicked at that point, the movie would have only been an hour long.
No, but the point is, when he's got Jessica Alba mounted in the kitchen of his restaurant, right there, that's your father.
I'm so happy.
And you're not.
Though I was mad that they were doing that. This is part of making a. For me, that means that they made it work. I was upset that he was doing that, and I like how they kind of dangled the fruit right there, but they just kept it there as something to like, kind of make you think that that's gonna happen. But as far as we know, he corrected his way, and the conversation he had with Mary Elizabeth Wonstadt, Lauren's her name, right? Lauren? Yeah, Lauren at the end of the film, they had that conversation where you're just listening to the music and you're seeing their connection in their eyes. You would think that at that point he's figured out what he is or who he is and whatnot. But I agree, those parts can definitely be negatives of a movie. I definitely think that that's I think that that's a choice of how they wanted the character to be, and it's something like that in real life. Like some people, that's how they will react to these things, and some people are more logical or understand where they need to, slap themselves in the face and go, "Oh, okay, I get it now." Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a moment that you got to catch yourself and be like,
was there anything,
"Damn, what the fuck? What am
I
doing?"
The movie that you didn't like that was maybe about how it was made, or jokes, or dialogue, or acting, those kinds of things.
Well, dialogue, of course, because like I said, everything was like all the funny stuff was lumped towards the early, and then the little bits that trickled in were just not enough. So it was not balanced as far as as far as trying to keep it a full-on comedy. I don't think it was balanced. I felt there was some parts that it got real dark, real quick,
real serious, yeah.
Just like, which was a little too much at times. But like I said, it's just proper balance between the dialogue would have been better. And that's pretty much it. And then the ending bothered the hell out of me.
Eddie, because I want to touch on that in a bit. Eddie,
bothered the hell out of me.
How about you? Do you remember anything that you didn't like about it, or that in how it was made, whether it was dialogue, acting, or filming of it?
Again, I have to say it wasn't that funny for me because I'm going off of memory, so like that, based on that, because the comedy will stick with me no matter what. Funny. Yeah. And it just didn't stick with me, and it's like I didn't find none of the jokes they did have humorous. It was just straight. I'm thinking of a doctor writing of a book about a person. Basically, she just violated his rights in my head right there.
Well, yeah, but she also wasn't a doctor.
And the mother gave the
whole sensible, right? She was using him. Yeah, he was basically a lab rat for her. That's why she was. So it's not like she had any Hippocratic oath to keep that to it. She did protect his
like, let's say if the kid
identity.
Doesn't understand why this doesn't even know that this book was written, that instance, that experience can mess up the kid.
Yeah.
Well, I think he would have been fine, that experience, with talking to her because he has a release. As someone who, as a kid, went through people to talk to, that's a release for that kid. So, and I think it would be more detrimental to see a book and say, that's my fucking life. Who the fuck, that's more, jarring to that kid, no matter when he finds out, like, holy shit, somebody just used my life. I think that would have been more jarring.
Story-based kind of stuff. Did you have anything else other than maybe not being as comedic as you'd hoped, Eddie?
No, it's like, as you guys were saying, for me, Adam Scott's character, that was all part of his development throughout the whole story. He's supposed to go through that to come to the end of the movie, to figure out the conflict.
Now, okay, so Lynn is saying that he doesn't like how the movie ended. How did you feel about the ending of the film?
I actually don't remember the ending of the film. That's why I wanted to rewatch it.
Okay, so at the end of the film,
it's a wedding.
Uh-huh.
It's the three men, the two brothers and their father, sitting all in tux, and they're preparing for a wedding inside a church. but you don't know whose wedding it is. You don't see the wedding because it stops with Carter looking at I don't know what.
Okay, so
and just walking right in.
What I think that the director and what they the Vietnamese whore or whatever she was, the Portuguese whore, yeah. And he said,
Portuguese.
I had a feeling like I should be here. This is where I need to be in life. And he said, I've had at least 10 of those moments in my life. I liked the ambiguity of not knowing if it was Richard Jenkins' character, Hugh, getting back with the mother, and like they've come to terms with each other and they've gotten married. I liked the fact that it could have been a continuation of Clark Duke's character getting married and continuing his love with his Keiko. Or I liked the thought that it could have been also,
Dre.
Yeah,
guy's name is Dre.
Trey,
brother.
Trey. Gary called him T.
Yeah, Trey.
And so it could have been them, or it could have been Adam Scott's character Carter, finally getting to the point where he was okay with who he is, and going along in life with Lauren. I think the part where you didn't get that, you said you like, what the heck is he looking at? I think that was him in his head. He realized like, this is a moment, like my dad just told me, where I need to be here. This is where I need to be, and that could be it. It could be the moment where he and it could be him. And
that could be it. I but he didn't have that face. Let's just say that, because he looked he
looked around like he was thinking
out of place. Like
interesting.
No, he looked like he wanted to take off. That's the look he gave. Like,
he was
thinking
here? Like this is one of those moments. And it could be like it's a moment where he's in the future deciding he needs to marry Lauren, or he could be marrying Lauren, and that's what he's like feeling. So I think that's how I interpreted it.
Right.
I liked actually how they left it ambiguous. I mean, they could have done the whole thing where they show us the wedding. Yeah, no, I do.
I'm sorry. I like
too,
closure.
There are certain
I want to see
movies
closure.
where there isn't a ton of closure,
Yeah, with this movie needed closure.
This is one of the few times where I actually am okay with it, leaving that open ending of us not knowing, because throughout most of the movie, there wasn't, like, usually in these movies, you have these types of movies, you have like, the moment of when he kissed Jessica Alba's character and he thought he was going to bang her in the restroom, right? Usually, like, that'll come out, and then Lauren would, the girlfriend would leave him, and the rest of the movie is like him trying to show her that he really truly loves her and win her back. But it wasn't even about that. Like, so the story was open-ended, and it was about him discovering who he is. And for me, because the whole movie was like that, it was a journey of who he is. There was not really a starting point or an end point for me. I felt okay with the open-ended ending.
Maybe it's because of the whole fact that not even half the movie was as comedic as it was, and did not carry that tone all the way through the picture. That's why I didn't get it, and maybe that's why I don't accept the ending, because and for one, if you're putting yourself as a dramatic comedy, then it should be. But when you market yourself as a full-blown ha-ha comedy, that's not the ending you give this movie.
Because if they're going to portray this as a comedy, it needs to be a comedy. I'll say this: one of my there's quite a few favorite jokes in the film, but one of them was he's outside and he says, "Oh, f this" or "f you," and right then a mom and a child are walking by.
Oh yeah, when he doesn't want to pick up the phone.
Yeah, they're
he's like, "Well, fuck you."
There was stuff like that.
She starts running.
But again, like you said, it was spread out a lot by more drama-filled, story-filled stuff than just more moments like that. I thought Richard Jenkins and Catherine O'Hara, the mother and father, I think they tried a lot to be comedic relief in this film for Adam Scott's straight man.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like the balance. It just goes back to dialogue. It's just like it fell flat a lot of times. Like, you knew that they were trying to get this to sound funny or what have you, and it did not.
No, it didn't work entirely. Let's jump into final thoughts, because I think we're kind of getting to that point now where we've kind of said what we thought are positive and negatives. Eddie, let me start with you, Eddie. Short and sweet. Give it to me. What did you what would you overall say of this movie? Whether you liked it, you didn't like it, would you recommend it, and what kind of grade would you give this?
All right, I'm yeah, it's kind of hard to remember a movie that's from 2 years ago for me. If I have to grade it, I would have to give it at least a D. Because, yeah,
2 years ago.
2013.
2013.
When did this movie come out?
Netflix.
And how long has it been on?
I don't know how long it's been on Netflix, but I finally saw it that it was on Netflix a few months ago.
Okay.
That's okay.
So go ahead, Ed. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you did. Now I lost my train of thought.
I sidetracked.
I would have to give it a. But I gave it a D. Okay, thank you. A D.
You said a D. You said a D.
It lacked in comedy for me. That's why I really don't remember much about the movie. And that's usually sad. When I see a good comedy, I will remember it, especially all the good parts.
Okay.
So, I mean,
you expected more You expected more comedy from this one. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay. And so D. And would you recommend anybody see it? Do you think it was cathartic for
because
somebody in your situation?
Because I really don't remember the movie like that. I wouldn't recommend it to nobody.
Okay. You'd have to watch it again first.
Yeah.
Okay. Lynn, let's go to you now. Oh, and please, can you answer that
God, that's
question
like
I just
going to
asked
dentist.
Eddie as well for yourself? If you felt like this might have been a cathartic type of thing.
Oh no, yeah, I could definitely see it as cathartic, and as someone who, unlike you, who think logically, I think emotionally, I can see this. The picture itself can be very, for those who are adult children of divorce, can see this and they go like, oh look, someone who understands this. I can breathe a little sigh of relief. I can see this picture doing this. I won't give it a D or what have you. I would say grade wise for me would be a C minus, and only because, like I said, the dialogue is very unbalanced. The comedy doesn't really stretch all the way through. There are funny moments, but I wish there were a lot more. And and I just a lot of the times the jokes that were tried just fell flat for me. Now, if it was a little bit more of a straight dramatic piece, I think it would have worked better for it, considering the subject matter. But they should have kept it light. I think if they would have kept it light and the dialogue more spread evenly, it would have been better for me.
Okay.
But I have to go with like
I'm
a
going to
C
be the
minus
highest
overall.
grader of this film out of the three of us. I give it a C. It's not, again, like we said earlier, a full-blown comedy like 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, Old School, Neighbors. It's not a comedy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
not.
Something
It's
that's
not a
just
laugh a
gonna keep
minute
going.
comedy. Definitely not.
So I will hold that against the marketing of this film, of them trying to make this seem like a comedy. But overall, I enjoyed the film. I thought there were funny parts in it. They were spread out a little bit. They weren't even throughout the film. There were parts where there were no jokes at all, and there were parts where it was purely just character development, story development. And even though that, I still enjoyed it enough to give it a C. I do think that it could be a cathartic type of thing for people who are adult children of divorce, because this is telling them, like, look, I know you go through this because we went through this as well, and this is something like maybe a parent watches this and they just divorced and they realize, like, holy cow, I don't want to do that, and they become a better co-parent. You know what I mean? Or something along those lines. It could help. It could.
Yeah. But I can see this not only being cathartic to the people who have to deal with divorce or children of divorce or even people who've been divorced or what have you. I see this cathartic to anybody who's had any type of long-standing relationship and has been like him, who's fails to commit to his individual, and then when he tries to commit, does it the wrong way and doesn't really understand how to commit. That's another group of people that could also take this movie in and be like, oh, yeah, I can see that too.
It could be a wake-up call for somebody. I'm not trying to say that anybody should go to movies for answers like this.
Yeah.
But movies, no.
No, definitely not. But it to see it and realize, hey, okay,
yeah.
There is something.
I myself,
right.
I would recommend it to people, but only certain people. I wouldn't just say, hey, everybody watch this movie. It's this awesome comedy. And then also I would take into account what kind of people I'm recommending it to and what type of movie they're trying to watch. If it's like a bunch of my friends that are hanging out on a Saturday night and they're like, hey, let's watch a comedy, I wouldn't say this. I wouldn't say, hey,
This
watch
would
A.C.O.D.
definitely not be this one.
No, I wouldn't say that. But if it was just like a couple of my friends and they're like looking for something a little, not so much like
Okay.
Neighbors, but not so much, a dramatic masterpiece.
Yeah. I wanna compare this to one of my favorite comedies. That's not really a full blown haha comedy, but it has a lot of the same type of, hey, I understand this movie, and that's High Fidelity, and a perfect example. But the difference between High Fidelity and Adult Children of Divorce is that High Fidelity, even though he's a guy who's struggling with getting over past relationships and trying to move on with himself to make himself better for Laura, he, Carter in this doesn't have any of that aspect because it plays too dark and and the comedy completely disappears. I don't know what went on downstairs. I cannot explain this. I'm sorry, but that's my youngest. But between they have a lot of the same elements.
High Fidelity
is
one
what
of
I
my
want to
favorite
get
movies
to.
of all time as well. But this doesn't. A.C.O.D. doesn't stand a chance if you were to compare it to High Fidelity. High Fidelity is.
Well, it has no. The reason why is it does have a lot of the
seriousness and
same
the
elements
jokes
as
and-
High Fidelity. The difference is, and the fact that it's the one guy is severely broken, and throughout his broken thing, we see him try to develop this. Where A.C.O.D. fails at is that at least I myself don't see that growth in Carter. You know what I mean? And we don't see a change. There's nothing that turns a light bulb on us, and because of the jokes not being as balanced, we don't. I was like, I wish it would have been a little bit more balanced, and the dialogue would have been more suited, and that way I can appreciate it as much as I do
would
High
have helped
Fidelity.
this movie for you. I felt like the development of his character once he got to the cabin, a lot of that stuff was very subtle. It was, and if it was a little bit more,
Yeah,
like,
but the
concrete,
reason
I
why
think that would have helped.
he had.
But for me, like, I saw the subtlety in it, and for me it was okay. And you would have liked it more concrete and been able to see that.
I think that when it started to become more concrete, actually took place a little bit earlier than that, and it was when he was in the restaurant before he lost the restaurant,
He says
and
we
he's
could have
having
been
that
friends.
discussion
Yeah,
with
when he
his.
realizes, like, oh shoot, I didn't get a chance.
That to me, exactly, because here's him, right in his face. He's like, damn, I really never really committed to anything. I didn't even give this woman a proper chance to be a friend, let alone my stepmother, and. That's where I started to see some of it, but like I said, it trickled off again, and then you don't see a lot of that
really
till
subtle,
the cabin moments.
And it wasn't concrete, and for the ambiguity of the ending, like I said, for you, all that stuff being very underneath, like the rug type of like very subtle stuff. For you, like that, you wanted more. For me, I saw that as okay for what the movie was, which is why movies are awesome because they're subjective. So we have our grades. Eddie was with a D. Lynn is a C-. I'm with a C, just a C. So depending on who you're talking to, we would possibly recommend it. That's the first we'll go to say.
Yeah, it's a very small group of people that should watch this movie,
let's
not
say
just
our
anybody.
goodbyes for this video, you guys. Eddie
Good night, everybody. Enjoy your evening.
and Lynn.
All right, everybody.
And
take care.
You guys, I want to throw
Catch you
this
later.
out there. Today is Veterans Day, and I want to say thank you for everybody serving. You two specifically that are with me today. Thank you for everybody. I'm sorry, what?
You're welcome.
Yeah. So thank you guys.
You're
thank
welcome.
you everybody out there. This day is not just a day to get a 3-day weekend. It's a day to remember all the positive things that we have in life that are available to us because of people that have put themselves out there to protect that for us. So with that being said, check out all of our podcasts. Check out our podcast every week on iTunes, Spreaker, Google Play, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, all that good stuff, all our social media. And for this video, you guys, I'll see you next time. I'm Sean. Peace out.
And one went up like yesterday. You can remind them of that.